You just brought your baby home, or you're weeks away from it happening.
And everyone is just overwhelming you with information,
advice,
suggestions,
and flat out requests.
So a year into raising our first child, we're sharing some of those do this, not that thing people said you should be doing.
I guarantee you someone said you need to do at least one of these things. And you know what?
You don't. We threw a party when we made it to 1 year of life for our daughter.
Most people do.
Yeah, but this was like a parent party. Like,
not the birthday party.
She's still alive. We did it.
Yes, we did it.
We did it. I mean, it is not an easy thing to do. This is the biggest life change that you've ever experienced. Bigger than marriage, bigger than a job, bigger than like literally anything, and nothing will prepare you for it.
No, nothing.
I mean, people tell you for weeks on end. I mean, how many people told us like, "Oh, your life's about to change."
Well,
you
months
have no
on
idea
end.
What's going to happen.
It's like as soon as you're pregnant, they're like, "Just you wait," and it's like, okay.
But I'll be honest. For me, like I was like, like is it going to change?
Your life didn't change until she was born, and then you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, to be fair, Kaylin's entire body is changing, but I'm sitting here kind of being like, wow, we have a baby coming. This is exciting. Hasn't really affected me at all. But then once she was born, it was like an avalanche of emotions and an avalanche of realization of, oh
boy.
Wow.
You were such a wreck. Oh, so sweet. Okay.
Those first few months were not easy. But anyway, going back into those months of people telling you what do you have to prepare for, what do you have to do.
You got to do this. You can't do that. You absolutely should do this.
Yeah, and you're not going to believe any of them until you're actually in it. And let me just do a disclaimer if I can real quick. Like if you haven't raised a child yet, like first of all, if you're married, you should do it because it is the most rewarding thing you could possibly do. It is also the hardest thing you could possibly do, but it's also the most important thing you could possibly do with your life. And if you're not married,
and this is coming from someone who like wasn't as all about kids to begin with.
It's true.
And you've totally different person.
Yeah, very much a 180. It's been a 180 experience for me having a child. But if you're not married, then you should get married.
If you want to.
If you want to get married. And then you should have kids because, again, it's the best thing you can do. It's the hardest thing you can do. And it's the most important things to do. So with all that, let's talk about some of those things people said for us not to do or to do that we are like, no thanks. Don't let others make you feel uncomfortable. Do take advantage of your cute little baby.
Yes. So we were pretty ambitious and took our daughter out when she was really young to like coffee shops and restaurants, and even took her on a flight when she was like 3 months old.
Not that we wanted to.
Not that we wanted to.
But we had to.
But we had to. And, you know, people give you questionable looks and your baby starts crying. And as a parent, you want to soothe your child. And you've never been in this situation where people just stare at you and give you like looks. But you know what? Who cares? There are so many nice people out there who, like, she was crying at a restaurant and the waitress came over and was like, don't even worry. We've all been there. Like, don't let people make you feel bad. Keep going out. Like, she's a baby. Live your life. Like, you can't just like stop doing things because you have a kid. That's another thing. But yeah, so we had a lot of great experiences with people, waitresses, flight attendants, etc., who are just super, super nice to us and made us feel great about having a cute baby.
Normalize the fact that your baby was being fussy in public. And I think that's a big thing, which shout out to like the flight attendants and the waiters and the people out there who do that and go that extra mile. Like I remember very vividly a flight where like, you know, our daughter was getting a little fussy and like this wasn't like major fussy meltdown. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, she was like a 2.5. Like she's pretty chill.
She's pretty chill.
But still the guy in front of us kept like turning around and looking at us and turning around and looking at us. It's like, dude, like what do you want? Like
she cried for like 10 minutes of like a 5-hour flight.
We're doing what we can to keep her happy and satisfied. She's got foxy woxy, you know, she's got the milk on demand. Like what more can you do? But then at the same time, like the flight attendants were like so good about coming over and like they're like, hey, you know, we saw she's playing with the cups. Like here's a bunch of cups. Or that one guy made like a balloon animal
out of a glove, and like one flight attendant offered to like take her and walk her up and down the aisle. We were okay, but like she grabbed another baby, so she was just like a really great person.
Thing, but like that's so cool that people are trying to normalize the fact that like, yes, your baby is fussy. Yes, that's totally normal. Yes, you're still out here living your life because you should. And for every yeah, there's some not nice people out there, but for every, jerk you encounter, there's like 3 or 4 people who make up for that bad experience with just offering you some great things. And also take advantage of the fact that your baby is hopefully, super, super cute.
It's a baby. It's probably cute.
It's a baby. So, I mean, like, we've gotten like free desserts.
Well, yes. I mean, and that one time we went to that restaurant and your mom was holding the baby.
Yeah, so one time we went to, it was a steak dinner, and
Yes.
my mom was being very kind because, when you're a parent, you soon realize that one of you
Gets to eat a hot meal.
and then the other one is eating a room temperature meal. And so
And you're so nice to me.
well, food's very important to her. So one time we're out there and, my mom was like, hey, I'll take the baby so you all can both eat a hot meal, actually. And so the waitress recognized this and she was like, oh, well, we got to remedy this. And she like cuts my mom's food for her, like literally cuts the steak into like bite-sized
I
pieces.
know.
You can just eat it with a fork.
I was waiting for her to like feed your mom, but that would have been a little too far.
Well, it's a different type of show. But, the fact is people are super nice. And so don't let that one bad experience make you feel uncomfortable.
No, don't. Don't feel like you need to share your baby with your whole family, especially right away, but do be thoughtful about how you do it.
Yeah. I mean, your baby is sort of like Simba on Pride Rock. Everyone wants a piece of them right away.
And we brought our baby home the day she was born. And our parents were there and they wanted to hold her. And I just wasn't quite ready for it yet. So, you know what? They had to be understanding about the fact that, she was just born. So, and we were very grateful they were all there and we gave everyone time with her. It just had to be on our terms.
Help is great when you first bring a baby home. I think the biggest thing is there's a switch. There's a fraternal and a maternal switch that happens when your baby is born.
A fraternal?
What would it be?
Paternal.
Paternal?
Yeah. Right? No. I don't know.
I don't know. Like I said, we aren't psychiatrists. We're just talking about this stuff.
Yeah, we don't
There's
know.
a switch that goes on in your life.
It's instinctual.
Immediately.
And you want to protect her.
And you want to protect you. And not that your parents are like creepy or mean or anything, but there is something about like, oh, this is my child and I want to
make sure
keep my child and
Yeah.
not surrender my child immediately.
Yeah. It has to be on your terms. I was really anxious about this prior to giving birth. I'm like, everyone's going to want to hold her and I'm not going to be ready for it. And he was like, what are you talking about?
It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. And then I think we both were like, oh, I don't know. But then they're there and they're like so happy that she's there and that she's part of your family. And then I think I was like more willing to share her once she was born, and Justin was like,
My baby.
Well, don't touch my baby.
Yeah.
Are your hands clean?
Well, I mean, our child was born in December, so like everyone is sick, and our whole family traveled to where we were living to be with her. So I mean, of course, that was a slight concern, but I think beyond that, it's just the fact that I don't know, like you want to take care of your child, and yes, you're open to suggestions and ideas right away. But when people start telling you right away like how you should be doing things,
Yeah.
I get a little defensive, and that's kind of like a thing that I do. But I think it's just like, well, I just brought my baby home, so why don't you give me 24 hours to like soothe her before you're saying, oh, let me calm her down, she's fussy. It's like, well, we're the parents. Like, we got to be able to calm her down. Like, we can't just, you're not going to be here for us to just hand our baby off to when she's fussy. And I think that was where a lot of that came from for me, was just, well, don't tell me how to do this immediately. Like, I get it. Like you're not going to do anything different than I'm not already doing. But like, also I got to do it.
And
but
it comes from a good place too.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
I mean, like both of our moms were like, let me take her so you can like get some rest and recover. And like your body just went through like a horrible trauma. So you're like, yes, but I also want to get to know her. Like she just came out. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where the do be thoughtful about how you kind of do that peace negotiation with your family, right? Because just remember, and trust me, I'm saying this because it was hard for me. It's just remember that everyone's there with the best intentions. They want to help you. They want to love on your baby. They want to love on you by loving on your baby. And just keep that in mind. And I think I'll be honest. I was terrible at this for probably the first few months, but I eventually got a lot better. Not that I'm
Once she became a more stable human.
yes, once I felt like I didn't have to like breathe life into her every 15 minutes to keep her going. But I think it became better about this when I let go of the idea of it became less about, hey, they're taking my baby or they want to spend time with my baby, and more about like, hey, they're trying to love this baby the way that they want to love them. They're trying to love me through loving this baby. And that mind shift for me was a big one that really helped me. But it's like
It's hard.
you're probably sitting there being like, man, take my baby. I'm gonna be tired. And trust me, like I thought that I'd be right there. Once you have a baby, and that's the thing about having a child, there's so many things that people have said, hey, and you're like, whatever. But once you experience it, it's a totally different ballgame.
It is. It really is.
So to Kaylin's point, I mean, just find a way to really walk that fine line, because that's also, it's not an easy conversation to have with your parents when you're trying to take care of your baby. You want to hold your baby. You got this instinct to keep your baby, but also to share them.
Yeah. And I think it also takes a mindset shift of like, hey, like they love her just as much as you do. Well, maybe, I don't know. They love her so much because she's a part of you and a part of you. And, you know, it's an exciting moment for them. And then I think back to like when my sister had her first baby in the hospital and we like all held her right away. And I was like, I can't believe she let us do that. And then her second time she had her second child, I think she was like more like, this is, you know, my time with my kid. And you totally have to respect that. And I did, because like, I get it now. I totally get it now.
And everyone's going to be different. So if your baby comes out and you're like, take them, good for you.
Good for you. More power to you.
Don't stop living your life, but do know when it's time to listen to your baby. We did not stop living our life. In fact, we look back now, we're looking at some photos. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe, look how tiny she was. And we took her to Disney's Animal Kingdom. We're like, when was that? It's like, that's a week after she was born.
It was not a week.
It's close.
It was
It's like
3 or 4 weeks.
But we, like, there's two extremes, I feel. I feel like either people are like, we're just doing our own thing, we're living our life, or people are like, we're going to be at home and not leave the house for like 6 months. And I think that in a way, we kind of lived out both of those extremes.
I think we were like in the house for a couple weeks because like I couldn't get in the car. And I think we got a little stir crazy and we were like, you know, people were visiting and we were like, they're like, do you want to go out? And we're like, yeah.
Let's go out to dinner.
She sleeps. It's great.
Let's go to a wine bar and yeah.
And I think I was excited to have wine after like 9 months of not having wine.
But like we did not stop living our life.
Yeah.
I mean, like we really hit the ground running. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I am saying is, don't be afraid if you want to be out there living your life. Because I think that one of the things that I had conversation with some of my friends, like, I can't believe you guys are out there doing all this stuff. Like, you just had a baby. And it's like, well, yeah.
But what are you going to, like, you're just going to stop? Like,
I mean,
doing things?
But, you know, some people, they're very concerned about, you know, obviously your baby's immune system's not quite as strong those first few days, or I don't know. I mean, like, I'm just saying people, there's reasons why people, you know, lock themselves up in their home for 6 months. And hey, listen, whatever you do, it's up to you. I'm just saying, if you do feel like going out there living your life, don't be afraid of that. I mean, I remember it was Christmas Day. We bundled her up and we took her down.
We went for a walk.
We went for a walk in downtown, the little downtown area of the town we lived in. And this was literally 13 days after she was born.
Yeah. It was her first outing. Besides, like, the pediatrician, which
also
after we went to the pediatrician,
like I'm saying,
we went to a coffee shop and the guy serving us, he brought us water and he was like, "Oh, that's a fresh baby. How old is she?" And I was like holding her like,
it's like 2 days.
It was
a week.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, she's a week. Don't breathe on her."
like I look back on it now and I'm like, man, we were kind of crazy.
But we were like in between 2 appointments, so we are just trying to kill some time.
And also, we like their coffee.
We like coffee.
But I mean, it is one of those things where you can live in either of these extremes, and it's totally normal. At the same time, do know when it's time to start listening to your baby, because I think those first few months.
Are you thinking of the story?
It was fine. I'm thinking of it was yes. So we were living our life. We had gone out several times to dinner. We've been getting coffee, and we would keep her up late because like she's gonna sleep anywhere. She sleeps. Well, there was a band playing like at a restaurant, not like super loud, but like they're
There's
off in the
music.
distance. There's
Yeah,
music.
there's music.
And so one night we go out to go get barbecue at a restaurant, and I remember
no,
this
is
night.
not a restaurant. We should like
That's like a
explain.
quick service place.
No, I meant like. Okay, we lived in Florida, and so there's this place called Disney Springs, and there's like music everywhere and people everywhere.
Yeah, so it's busy.
And it's like overstimulating and
Definitely.
lights and
she was probably like 2 months old. Well, it was the end of January. You know why I know this? It had to be like end of January because it's the same night that the Kansas City Chiefs were playing the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game. It always comes down to football.
Oh my
so I know all
goodness.
my dates. And Patrick Mahomes gets that stupid flag and they win.
Get to the point.
Okay, so point is that we go out to dinner and she wakes up.
No, and we got takeout because we were like, oh shoot, we gotta go.
We're like, we have to leave. Like this might turn south, and it went very south,
very quickly.
so south that we end up eating the takeout.
No, you ended up eating the takeout.
I ate the takeout
and the ice cream in the parking lot.
Hey,
for like 2 hours.
it was a stressful time. There's a football game going on. Now I'm watching off my phone.
We're trying to soothe the baby. She's screaming her head off.
And it was we were literally in that parking lot with her screaming her head off, refusing into car seat for at least 2 hours.
Yes, and then we got her in the car seat and got her home, and she went to bed. And then we saw our pediatrician like a couple weeks later, and she was like, "So if you're like not like getting into a bedtime routine, now's the time." And we were like, "We learned that one."
Note taken.
So do listen to your baby, and when she's ready to go to bed, maybe listen to her.
Yep, it'll be a time when you will realize us living our life according to our schedule has now come to an end, and thus begins the age of living life still to its fullest, but within your baby's schedule.
We still did things like we drove down to Miami and we brought her with us, and you go to a hotel and, instead of going down to the bar and getting drinks together, you take them up to your room, you put her to bed, and you have a little date night in the room together while she's sleeping.
You
So
get creative,
it's just,
you find ways.
Yeah, it just shifts and changes. And yes, be creative, but you don't have to stop living your life. But you should listen to your baby. Don't rely on DoorDash. Do meal prep. This one was a lifesaver.
Yeah, this is a big one because you will get sick of Chipotle very quickly.
And all the takeout options available to you.
I mean, first off, people are super nice. Like, I mean, it depends. Obviously, you could be like, I have no friends, I have no family, no one came to my help when I had a child. I'm sorry, but like for the most part, people are super happy, friendly, and want to set up like a DoorDash meal train or whatever it is, the gift cards and stuff, and it's super helpful. Don't get me wrong, but
there's
your body and your mind will thank you about food prepping. And I got a hats off to Kaylin on this one.
I was really big on this
I
one.
thought that we're preparing for doomsday for about 6 months because she double batched every meal that she cooked. I mean, for literally months. And not only did she do that and store up all this food so that I could be a Michelin star chef, because all I had to do was, to heat it up and it was good to go. But she batched it all, and then she made like an actual like document of our inventory.
I had a whole list of inventory so we could decide what we wanted to eat. But for postpartum moms, this is also really important to your healing, is having good nourishing foods for your body. And I didn't want to have Chipotle every day. And I also wanted to make it easy on him and me. And there's something about having food that you cooked and you know what's in it. I don't know. There's just a lot of things. And it's also like empowering to know that like I'm still feeding my family even though I'm not doing the cooking.
Like by using the force.
By using the force.
But I mean, people say like, hey, don't worry about like, don't cook, rely upon people to bring you food and stuff. And like, yeah, sure. But also like.
We didn't have a whole like community where we were at the time. We had some people we knew who were very generous and helpful, but we wanted to make sure we were also prepared. So that was something I thought it was pretty easy to prepare for, because like he said, I just kind of double batched everything. So it was like, okay, instead of leftovers, which you never eat anyway, I just would freeze it and put it in the deep freeze, and we had food for days.
No, literally.
Weeks.
almost
Months.
nay say months.
Months.
So I mean that was a great call out of just something that
Super practical.
people don't really talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And then
But
when
if anyone would think about it,
it's
it
me,
would be my wife.
because I'm always hungry. And the things I wish I did make more of were like breakfasty foods. Just saying. Made a lot of soups. Love the soups. You love the soups.
Soups are great,
So
but yeah, the food definitely came in clutch.
it was definitely a practical thing to do, and I'm glad we did it. I'll do it again.
So those are just a few things I think people told us either not to do or to do. I mean, like, no one told us to prep food. That was a really genius move. No one ever made us feel, people made us feel weird about going out and living our life. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, like,
I'm
it was
glad
the
we
best
did
thing
it.
for us. Yeah. No one prepares you for the family thing. And I think everyone talks about like how you have to, I don't know, at least I feel like we got a lot of peer pressure, not peer pressure, but comments from our family about being more open to their helping. And I think it's okay for someone to say, it's why we're saying it, it's okay to also like be like, I'm not ready for that.
You can have healthy boundaries with your
Yeah.
family.
So we hope those things are helpful.
Yeah.
They're helpful little tips, advice. We love being parents. It's the best thing that ever happened to us. It's really redefined I think who we are as people, especially myself.
Changed their whole life.
Yeah. So we hope that's helpful and you'll enjoy it. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe. You can leave a comment. Click that bell so you're notified when we post another video. We do a video each week. We really appreciate all the support here on YouTube. If you listen on podcasts, leave us a review. Follow the show. Again, super helpful. If you like the show, drop in the comments. If you have a question, drop in the comments anywhere. If you hate the show, drop that in the comments and let us know what you hate about it. So you can always follow us on social at Real Relationship Ramble. Got anything else?
No, that's it.
I'm Justin.
Caitlin.
Catch you later.
Bye.